Okay, how much damage am I dealing now? No way. I can't keep getting away with this. Yo, what is up guys? I'm here hitting you up with a new Etheria start video. I hope your weekend double event grind is going fine and it's going as you planned, guys. Before we jump into this video, quick thing in eigener Sache. In case you didn't know, I have my own Discord, link in the description down below where you can join. We have an Etheria section right there where we cover news, where I also post my videos so you are up to date about the videos I'm posting and the topics I'm covering. And we have a lot of people also discussing strategies and stuff like that, helping each other out over there. And also I participate in these chats actively, so it's not like you see me once every blue moon. I'm actually fairly active right there. Now, before I show you what I did with certain builds, I will now show you, I don't know in which moment exactly, but I will now show you two different stats of MaTeIRiA. You can pause now the video and think about which one will deal more damage in your mind. Actually, let me talk about how we consider DPS units in general. By the way, I built my Ziada. At the end of the day, I will actually make a second video today, how my weekend progression was, where I spent all my stamina in, everything I achieved during this time period of this double event, and just show you in general my account and the progression itself. Generally speaking, I think I mentioned before, maybe not, but basically all you want to have for a DPS is you want to have attack, you want to have crit rate, and you want to have crit damage. Those are the three stats you need. Attack, the higher the attack, the better the damage. The higher your crit damage, the more damage you're getting, right? And you need the crit rate, because without the crit rate, you cannot get crit damage. And overall, we also know the rule of thumb when it comes to the ratio of attack and crit damage. If your attack is very high, but your crit damage is low, you're not getting optimal damage, like you get average damage. If you have very high crit damage, but low attack, it will be the same as the other way around. But if you have medium attack and medium crit damage, you're actually getting now more damage out of your DPS. That's why we always want to balance attack and crit damage. That's why we're not trying to aim for plus 4000 attack, but only 50% extra crit damage, or we want to aim for 300% crit damage and only plus 500 attack or plus 1000 attack, right? So we want to have like the optimal balance of these stats. This is what we do in general, and that's why we built the units: attack, crit rate, crit damage. But what if I told you that you can change one specific setting that could end up changing the entire way of how we look at DPS builds in general? Let's take a look at this MaTeIRiA. And the one specific reason we could do something different than what we're usually doing is thanks to count. What we're usually doing is we have the attack, the crit rate, the crit damage. Also, guys, if you didn't watch it yet, I made that an in-depth shell damage test video where I tested count, revelation, and white fang, and showed you my results, who's dealing the most damage, who's optimal and stuff like that. So that's why I will not go in depth in that. So if you didn't see that one, you can check that out separately. But we want to focus here right now on count and what we can do differently when we are using count. Now, the interesting part about count is he is giving us an extremely high flat attack bonus of 1200, and is quite a lot. Now, if we look at this MaTeIRiA, for example, he has plus 2400 attack, so he ended up being at 3700 attack, and we have an extra crit damage of plus 110%, so 260% crit damage in total. Now, with the count on top of it, we get a plus 3600, almost plus 3700 attack, while we only have plus 110% crit damage. But I will just show you my results on the Excel sheet, because I already did all my testings and recordings, and I think I just want to show you something. So those are the two builds right here. Oh, by the way, by the time you're watching this video, I'm probably live on Twitch right now playing Etheria Restart. Link in the description right now if you want to tune in and want to have fun with all the shenanigans I'm doing on stream. I welcome you. So I just made the camera a little bit slow so you can actually see stuff, because people are complaining all the time with the camera. Dude, I can put my camera on the left side, I can put it on the right side. Dude, guys, what the fuck is wrong with you? I just keep it here, okay? Because otherwise I have to move it every single video. But nonetheless, if we look at the stats, you can see here I made two different builds. We have the classic on the right side. We have the classic attack, crit rate, crit damage build, as you can see here, as I just showed. And on the left, we have something else. On the left side, we have a crit rate, double crit damage build. So I replaced the attack percentage piece with a crit damage piece, so I have a higher crit damage. Is it better when we are using count? Because count provides us already an extra 1200 attack. Okay, so basically what I was seeing, so this is basically plus 1800. I mean, come on, we are free off, round correctly here. With this buff we have plus 3000 attack, plus 3000. And then additionally, we have 57% more crit damage. On the other side, we have plus 3700, and then with plus 110% crit damage. Now with these informations, I went in and did a first test with Beyondton, and Beyondton provides a attack and a crit damage buff, right? And I just show you the results. So what I did was I went to investigation, where we farm XP 25, used claws for the defense break, debuffs, and then Beyondton for the buff. And then I wanted to see Messiah's damage. Now if we compare that, so the left side is the double crit damage one, and the right side is the balance one with attack, crit rate, crit damage. Now we have here two different images. I hope you can see it. I might have to maybe make it a little bit bigger, but I kind of want to make sure that you can see both at the exact same time. Yeah, I kind of have to make it a little bit smaller, but nonetheless, what we can see here is on the left, if we compare certain parameters. So on the left side we have 40k, 45k, or 44, or close to 45k, 38k, 45k, 43k. This is the double crit damage one. Also keep in mind we are running the momentum set, Momentum Fury on Messiah. That's why the more debuffs, the more damage also as well. And on the right side, we have the standard build. We have 38k, 45k, 40k, 42k. And then on the last one, that doesn't matter because this one didn't even have a defense break and it didn't crit. But if we compare these numbers, they do look slightly similar, but also different. What do we can see here on this side? Okay, this one doesn't count, but we had one below 40k, and on the left side we had also just one below 40k. But then if we look at the other numbers, also there is damage fluctuation. We both had on both sides, we had one with 40k crit with 3 debuffs, and then we had 42 and 45. And here on the other side, because we also got the crit, we got 43, 45, 44, close to 45. So overall, these numbers on the left side are just slightly higher. Just slightly, but barely noticeable. Also keep in mind, we're using a Beyondton here right now. And a Beyondton provides us a attack and a crit damage buff. Now let's take a look at the footage below. So this one here is just the second hit of the same thing. Now here we can see 37, 45, 39, 40. And then on the left we have 40, 43, 38, 44. Way higher numbers overall. The only one in the middle was slightly lower, but then we have to look, actually keep in mind what kind of debuffs we're having. But here we can see only 2 debuffs, but we had 38, while this guy in the middle had 3 debuffs and was just barely stronger than the other one. And then here what is also very noticeable, we have here the 45 and then 45 again. Then here we have 44, 43, and then on this side we have 45, 44, while also here with the same debuffs we only had 42 and 40. Now they look kind of similar overall in terms of damage because we're using the Beyondton. But also what I already noticed is that on the left side with the double crit damage build, it is slightly more consistent in damage output. It's slightly more consistent. Not much, but slightly. Now I did the same thing again now, but instead of using Beyondton, I used A, and I have to scroll to the right so you see, I did not use Beyond It, and I brought, as you can see, a number 41. Just simply because attack bar boost, and it's just straight up just an attack boost, no crit damage boost, just the attack buff, okay? Because not everybody has a crit damage boost depending on your setup, but most likely a attack boost because of your, let's say, your Freya. And now we compare the damage again. Now on the right side, what we can see here is we have all the debuffs going on. This one sadly didn't crit, but that's whatever. But as a reference for the attack one, the standard build, basically we're 33, 35, 36, 35 as the highest number. I hope you can see it. Look at the camera right now. Okay, you can see it. This, and 36 as the highest number. Now let's look at the left side with the double, with like way lower attack but higher crit damage. We're seeing 35, 38, 36, 31. No defense break, by the way, keep that in mind. It's just lower because there's no defense break. And on the last one, 37. This is now a lot more noticeable overall, because if you compare that now with just the attack buff, you can see on the standard, the classic build, our highest ceiling number was 36k. On the left side, with the double crit damage build, 36 was just right in the middle. It wasn't even the best number. It was not even the second best number. It was the third best number, below 37 and 38. And now for the second hit, if we go below with the same build, like same fight basically, 34, 37, 36, 34. And with the double crit damage one, we have 37, 38, 39, 37, 30, because there was no defense break, 37. Now what you can see here, the damage is a lot more, and then here in the middle we didn't have a crit. But you can see the damage is a lot more, like a lot higher, a lot higher. And you feel like, oh, but it's just a little bit. No, let's look at the results. So I used both these highest numbers with just the attack buff to see, okay, how much. I just removed the small numbers because who cares really at this point. But so I just used these flat numbers, the highest ones from both sides, and compared them to each other. I know it's super small. Let me make it bigger. So on standard build, we have actually, our highest damage was actually 37k damage, while on the other hand, on the left side with the double crit damage build, we had a total damage of 77k with these two hits from MaTeIRiA. There is a 4000 damage difference. And that is huge, because also when we look at PvP, sometimes units survive with just that little bit of HP. And that, if the opponent survives with just a little bit HP, or they just straight up die, makes or breaks your entire PvP experience. And also this is huge if you think about it. If you're looking in terms of your own build for your PvE grind, can you, for example, Doki Doki, it might be very important. Can you one-shot the first wave or not? And now if you look at these different numbers, this difference in numbers could be the make or break situation for you to clear, to one-shot a wave or to not one-shot a wave. And that also fairly reliable and consistent. And whatever you're trying to achieve basically at the end of the day. Now last but not least, because I also wanna mention it, so my MaTeIRiA is at P3. By the way, I pulled him yesterday. I did my single daily challenge. You know that you have that single daily to finish the daily activities. You just popped a MaTeIRiA, got him to P3, which is pretty cool. But basically, nonetheless, that's not a flex, what I want to talk about. But the thing is, now because I have him P3, MaTeIRiA has actually the highest base attack of all the units in the game. So when you remove a attack percentage piece from him and give him a crit damage piece, it is actually a lot more noticeable because he loses a lot more attack. So that's why the numbers are not as far apart as, for example, for other units might be. And that's why, and even though he has the highest base attack, it was still better to run a double crit damage with count to get more damage. Now, if we compare that, we have other units. We have a Ditting who's close to 1200, or you guys started using, for example, a Ziada, which has maxed out only 980, which is kind of low. Now, if you dare remove a attack percentage piece, the amount of attack you are losing is a lot lower than if you remove that from a Messiah. So for these type of units, a double crit damage piece makes even more sense, because you get that attack buff basically from your account, right? That's it for today's video. Long story short, double crit damage with count is the DPS meta. If you want to maximize your damage, you're going crit rate and double crit damage. Now, if you bring a crit rate buffer to the team, then you can replace that crit rate piece with an attack one, and then you can do attack double crit damage if you go with a crit rate buffer. But overall, for me personally, moving forward, I will build all my DPSs now with crit rate, double crit damage in mind, because that nets me the most damage using count as my basically attack buffer DPS build to get the right balance of both stats. And guys, if this video helped you and you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it, and see you with the next one. Deuces.